time, and I'm new to the community of autism researcher. Yeah, that's going to be much better. Do we need mic? Yeah. Right. Thank you. Just a minute. Sorry about that. Is this okay? Can you hear me back there? Yes or no? It was conflicting information back there. Okay, that's much better. No! All right. So it indeed it was conflicting. No. Just. Oops. Better? Any better now? Can you hear me? All right. So once again, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today. The study or the findings I'm going to present today are part of a project we are doing. We are participating with other collaborators and from different countries. Actually, it's an Erasmus Plus project called Teacher Training and Attention in Autism. I'll explain in the next couple of minutes how on earth I'm participating in such a project. I didn't present myself. I mean, Gal presented me, but I am an attention researcher, and I'm relatively new to the field of autism, and you'll hear in a minute how attention and autism are going to relate to one another. So a couple of words about the project. So we are collaborating with researchers and teachers from the UK, Spain, Greece, and obviously Israel. Again, it's not just a collaboration of scientists, of researchers, but also of school teachers and other professionals who work with kids with autism in schools in these 4 countries. A bit of a background. So as we all know, autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by difficulties in social interaction and communication, repetitive and stereotyped interests and behaviors. It affects many children, and there's a real dramatic rise in the percentages, in the prevalence of autism all over the world, and we heard this morning also in Israel, and this is not surprising. Now, although, as again we all know, attention is typical attention is not one of the defining characteristics of autism, several typical attentional processes are often found in individuals with ASD, and moreover, again, rising percentages of kids and individuals with autism also suffer from ADHD symptoms. I'm not relating only to the individuals who are diagnosed also with ADHD on top of autism. There are many individuals who get now since the DSM-5 who get these comorbidities diagnosis, but I'm also referring to the other many kids with autism that just suffer from a certain level of ADHD symptoms. So altogether, it means really, it's a very prevalent complaint in autism, attention difficulties. When looking at the literature, more and more studies recorded and reported all sorts of attention difficulties, such as problems in sustained attention, selective attention, cognitive control, including several components such as inhibition, planning, set shifting, and cognitive flexibility. Again, things that we we're not surprised. We're familiar with many of these complaints and deficits. All of these contribute to difficulties in school attainment and academic functioning. So actually, our project jump into the very, very important challenge of how to improve the chances of many, many kids with autism within the context of schools. Okay. I think pardon me. Okay. So when considering academic performance within schools, attention comes into play, and there's no doubt that all of us as learners use our attentional capabilities to learn new things, and I'm not referring only to academic learning. And the importance of attention in learning starts very, very early, during infancy actually, and it increases, its importance even increases with age. Again, when talking specifically about autistics, several recent studies recorded these links also in the clinical population of autism, of autistics. Now, recently, several years ago, almost accidentally, our CPAT program, CPAT is a computerized progressive attention training programs, which is a computerized system that we developed long ago for children with ADHD. So it's a simple cognitive training system. We call it direct process cognitive training, or direct process attention training. And it yielded very positive improvement in kids with kids with ADHD. Several years ago, then she was a PhD candidate of my colleague, she really insisted to try CPAT with autistic kids. We were really, really skeptical, because as an attention research, I believed, okay, attention is not one of the core deficits of core components of kids with autism. Why on earth we would expect attention training to be beneficial for kids with autism? So we decided that not to risk her. It was a PhD, and we decided it will be just a side project in her dissertation. And sure enough, and thanks to the fact that she was really, really consistent and showed very high perseverance, she managed to run this pilot project. It was in the UK, and she got very, very convincing results. Later on, after she graduated, she was a Brazilian. She's still a Brazilian. She moved back to her country, and she even already managed to complete another study in her home country in Brazil, showing very impressive, I would say, improvements for kids with autism. So this is from the paper published just last year, and you can see here. Another thing it is important for me to mention. Many of the intervention studies, I'm referring to the non-pharmacological interventions, they lack active control group. So many of the studies would compare the experimental training, attention training or joint attention training or whatever, with a passive control or with a waiting list. In our studies, we always including active control, and the same here. So the comparison is with active control groups, children who performed other activities with very similar features in terms of interaction, in terms of feedbacks and positive gestures that the kids received. As you can see here, the CPAT group, with the gray, you see with the gray lines, improved significantly in reading, in math, in writing, and also with the CPM, the raven colored matrices. And you can see here also that these improvements were maintained on follow-up. The follow-up was administered 3 to 4 months after the completion of the intervention. The intervention is a short one, just 13, 14 sessions of 45 minutes. And as you can see, the active control group did not show any similar improvement. So these findings really, first of all, as I admitted earlier, we were surprised, and it caused us to rethink about attention in autism. And here the project comes in. Sorry, I'm confused with the page down, page up keys, so bear with me. So back to the project, as I mentioned before, so TTAA, Teacher Training in Attention and Autism. So we're going to produce 3 intellectual outputs. The first one is a report on best practice of attention in autism in the 4 participating countries, and this is part of it I'm going to share with you here. But let me just mention the other 2 outputs that are planned to come really, really soon, because I think it might be relevant for perhaps several of you to collaborate in the future. So the second output is an updated, freely available cross-platform version of the CPAT. So instead of our old system, we're going to have a new one. Hopefully this system will be much, much more flexible and will allow us to work with a wider range of autistic kids, along with a detailed implementation protocol. Another important thing that I haven't mentioned, at least not explicitly, the plan is for us, the goal is to provide this system and the instruction so that teachers and professionals will be able to use it in public schools and wherever. So this is also relating to several talks that we heard earlier today, and we saw how crucial it is, your background, whether your parents can allow specific and highly adjusted treatments for the kids. And here we really, really hope to make a real change for many, many kids and families. The third output would be a MOOC, an online course that will allow professionals and even parents, whoever would like to consider working with the CPAT, to undertake the course and to be able to work with the system. Obviously, we will collect a lot of data whenever this is going to be online. So the goal, the local goal, was in the first output was to assess the knowledge and the needs of teachers and professionals who are working with elementary school children with autism regarding attention in autism. So actually what we wanted to get from the teachers and other professionals is to understand their needs, both in terms of knowledge, and also we are looking for their input to be able to plan and to adjust the features of the CPAT so that it will be possible, it will be feasible to be included in their schedule, their curriculum within schools and perhaps even kindergartens. Okay, should be really. Okay, so I'm going to present several results from the survey we took. It's the sample, the Israeli sample, was comprised of 148 participants. Most of them were teachers, naturally, who worked at least once with a student with autism. So I'm going to quickly, so here is the sample compared to the other. I should be really in a hurry right now, so let me just jump to the results. This is not surprising. Vast majority were teachers in urban schools. Gender, you can see that in Israel, the asymmetry between males and females is even more pronounced than the other countries. And this is my most important piece of data. So here we ask the teachers and the other professionals to rank the areas of difficulties according to their experience for children with autism. Okay, again, in the context of academic performance in schools. So you can see that in the Israeli sample, naturally communication and social difficulties were ranked as the first, the major obstacle. But then the second factor is attention difficulties, and the third one is challenging behaviors and self-injurious behavior. So on the one hand, teachers rated attention difficulties as one of the major obstacles children with autism are coping with. And on the other hand, before the other hand, these are several quotes from because we also included the open questions. So you can see that they provided many very interesting answers. So for instance, the ability to attend is one of the basic skills to develop communication and interaction skills. This is true for everybody. Sometimes due to communication difficulties, children are easily distracted and shut down in their own world. And attention is affected by other factors such as the ability to communicate, regulate emotions, regulate behavior, and the ability to manage environmental and internal sensory processing issues. Again, things that we shouldn't be surprised. And the last thing I'm going to mention is the level of confidence of the teachers with regards to knowledge on attention difficulties in autism. So you can see here that in Israel, approximately 50% of our sample reported that they are only a little confident regarding attention difficulties in autism. In Spain, it's even worse. In the UK, it seems a little bit better, but generally speaking, this is indeed a major issue that we believe we can really help with. I suppose I have to finish, okay? So here. So as I just showed you, Israeli teachers and professionals who work with autistic kids perceive attention difficulties as one of their major obstacles in the context of school. And it doesn't matter in this context whether it is because they think attention or a typical attention is a core deficit or symptom, or it is a result of the other core, the traditional core symptoms of autism. In this sample, relatively low levels of confidence were reported regarding the knowledge about attention difficulties in autism. And we really think that a real change should be executed in terms of how our teachers and elementary teachers and kindergarten teachers should be educated related to autism, generally speaking, and attention in autism more specifically. We really hope, as I explained at the beginning, that we will be able to report a large study which will investigate the effects of CPAT, the new CPAT, on academic performance of kids with autism. Thank you very much.
Time for one question. Yes, we'll make it up.
Hi. Thank you for your talk. Can you say a little bit more about the teacher training? Is it something that is done for generally on attention? Are you specializing in autism, and then at what age does it start?
So you are referring to the project, the TTAA project?
Sorry,
Or that's.
sorry, I don't know exactly the differences between.
I'm not sure if your question referred to the system, the attention training system, or to the project that includes the entire training. What we do in the project. Okay. So first of all, you are most than welcome to register to the project. I'll be very happy to email it to whoever would like to, and then you can participate in our webinars. You will be contacted when the CPAT will be out there, and we are really more than happy to widen our community. And if you ask about the system itself, then the CPAT is addressing 3 core attention mechanisms: sustained attention, sustained attention, the ability to stay focused over a long period of time; selective spatial attention, the ability to focus over a restricted spatial area, being able to suppress adjacent distractors; and attention control, which is a much wider executive cognitive control mechanism that is really, really important for learning new tasks, being able to perform in new areas and in new situations, and also to be able to flexibly change our behavior and our responses. Sorry about the long answer.
Thank you very much.